He wrapped her in the bedsheet, tied her with salt tape, and applied super glue to her lips. There was money involved, and the woman believed that if this child was his, they would inherit all the treasure. The inheritance was granted half an acre after the child turned 2 months old. Monica sold it for 30 million, despite having received only 15 million.
Some locals allege that a woman named Maria, who had shown interest in Wanted, had been blackmailing Monica for some time prior to the incident. These allegations raise the possibility that this information may have contributed to Wanted's emotional instability.
That lady was manipulative and self-centered, providing the man with a lot of information, whether true or false.
The relatives add that the man shouldn't have killed the woman, but Maria was the source of the problem. The family is looking for her to face the authorities.
In an effort to verify these claims, we attempted to seek a comment from the police at Katonga Regional Station, but unfortunately all officers were unavailable at the time of inquiry. Ivan Kahwa and Namugawe Cornelia, UBC News.
Now, happenings with the MK movement. Proponents of the MK army have unanimously agreed to adopt the MK movement as the new arrangement for driving the social and economic development agenda for Uganda, as opposed to having various power centers, which they say will promote disunity. A senior coordinator of the movement, Michael Mawanda, says it's a transition, not a disbandment. The unveiling of the MK movement was conducted at Bax Hotel in Jinja following a recent directive by General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
MK movement,
It is no longer the MK army, but the MK movement. This flag off makes effective the recent directive by MK movement leader, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
The leadership is now hands. If the Lord has said yes, nobody can say no. They thought we started small, they thought we were joking. But now they have understood now that when they talk about who can replace, we are number one of this.
It is the reason why the promoters of this movement are in Jinja City. All the now former coordinators of the MK army across districts and regions have attended. They have been here to witness the transition to the MK movement.
Now that we have been united and we work as a team, we have invited everybody tomorrow in the Emyooga. Don't look at somebody that one is coming from team chairman, that one is a avenger. No, from today we are all one and together. Are we together? Yeah.
But what does this movement stand for? This is the question that the new arrangement is providing answers to.
For us, what remains permanent is the country Uganda. For us, we are passengers. We come, go, but Uganda will what? I am a member of parliament in the ticket of NRA. I cannot say that we are 100% perfect, but how best can we improve? And don't get shy. Where you see a mistake, speak it out. There is no problem, because that's the best way how we can improve and how we can correct ourselves.
With the transition effected, what now remains is establishing structures through elections. Balam Barugahari is the immediate former vice chairperson of the MK Army for Western Uganda.
So we are looking forward to win all those positions. I've encouraged our soldiers or our forces to go and popularize their positions in all villages to volunteer and spread the gospel of General Muhoozi.
The move to streamline leadership and organizational structures of the movement is to ensure all intended objectives are achieved.
So it was just appropriate that as the leadership of MK Army, we sit with our forces and tell them the transition.
The official unveiling of the MK movement will be done in Bugade Town Council of the Mayuge district of Busoga sub-region in eastern Uganda on Saturday. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The Director of Public Prosecution, Jane Francis Abado, has urged Uganda Police to equip investigation officers with modern tools to match the current dynamism in scene reconstruction and evidence gathering. DPP was presiding over the peeping ceremony of the recently promoted and gazetted officers at CID headquarters in Kibuli.
The piped 161 police officers range from the rank of Senior Superintendent of Police to the rank of Corporal.
Hakuma Prudence, Igumira Isaiah, Karugaba Collins Keith, Lumala Fred, Mbagazi Sherry Regina.
Director Criminal Investigations AIGP Major Tom Magambo reiterated on police commitment of retooling investigators as crime environment demands.
We have been deliberate on working on the minds, the ideological consciousness of our officers. For them to understand our historical mission, the next priority has been to place them in the right jobs. This has been a struggle, but we are working hard to make sure we place the right people in the right jobs.
Despite limited resources injected in investigations, detectives are cautioned on getting facilitation allowances from victims.
It is our stand as top management that we shall not allow any complainant, even if that complainant is a bank, to facilitate us. We shall work within our small means and do what we can do with the little money that we have. So friends, I want to implore you to talk to your teams to stop asking the public to facilitate us for doing our job.
The Director of Public Prosecution, Jane Francis Abodo, urged police to equip investigation officers with modern tools to expedite field warranties and minimize backlog.
Perceived corruption is when you stay with the file for 3-4 months, when you are supposed to do investigations in 2 weeks. We have demystified the saying that investigations take long. The Iron Sheets scandal, it was investigated in under 1 month. Actually, I'm the one who stayed with the files longer because I wanted to read each and every one of them.
The current crime environment calls for high technological methods of investigations and evidence gathering. Based on this backdrop, police takes it mandatory for all officers to undergo periodic training. Komagum Rogers and Abdul Nasir Ruwama for UBC News.
And in Kasindi Operation Shujaa, Commander Major General D. Kolum and the Beni Sector Commander Major General Kasongo Maloba have met in Kasindi to review the progress of Operation Shujaa in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The two commanders discussed a number of issues, among them the joint military operation in Mwalika Valley, where the remaining ADF top commanders are held up. Haruna Mtisasira has got more in this report.
Operation Shujaa Commander Major General Diko Lum and Sector Commander Ben Territory Major General Kasong Maroba have held a joint military discussion at Operation Tactical Headquarters in Kasindi. The purpose of this meeting was to renew the efforts of operation, establish new strategies and orient themselves according to the enemy dynamics.
Le président Museveni de l'Ouganda et le président Félix Antoine Tshisekedi de la RDC.
Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo, vile vile Mheshimiwa Rais wa Uganda wamesaini na kukubaliana ili maamiri jeshi wetu wawili waweze kusimamia operesheni za kumusaka adui.
The two generals discussed how best the joint forces could capture the most wanted ADF top commanders in Mwalika Valley. Ben Sector Commander Major General Kasongo Maroba said the joint forces have neutralized the ADF.
La population doit avoir confiance dans les deux armées et dans les autres.
Wananchi wa pande zote mbili inabidi wawe na tumaini na wajue kuwa jeshi zote zinafanya kazi kwa kuwalinda.
On Tuesday this week, in a joint operation, UPDF and Fadaka Army operating in Mwalika Valley faced off with ADF rebel group under the command of Abu Akasi in the night. During the night operation, 14 women were rescued, while the most wanted ADF rebel commander, Abu Akasi, eluded capture. This prompted the generals to meet and lay new operation strategies.
And during that process, the main fighting team of Abu Akasi ran in disarray. And of course the women, who were 15 in number, who could not run, remained behind and they got captured. We don't give them time to rest. They don't get anywhere to go and look for food. They don't go at night and sleep. In daytime they don't rest. So it is pressure that has made them get into all that achievement that we have got out of saving these women.
Currently, the joint forces of UPDF and Fadaka Army are dealing with a smaller splinter group of ADF who are on the run in the North Kivu province. Operation Shujaa has so far had 3 phases. Every 2 months, a review is conducted to ascertain the progress of operation and draw mechanism for the way forward. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Thank you very much there, Haruna Mtesasira. Now, the Democratic Party Parliamentary Caucus has vowed to boycott the homecoming event organized by DP Party President Norbert Mao. Norbert Mao, also the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, will host a number of dignitaries in what he dubbed Mao Homecoming in Gulu City this Saturday.
The Democratic Party President Norbert Mao is scheduled to host an unusual event in Gulu City codenamed Mao Homecoming. The DP's Norbert Mao was appointed the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs after an MOU with the National Resistance Movement to enhance the political space in Uganda. Minister Mao is also a strong and resourceful leader, pushing the agenda of the Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue, IPOD.
So I'm an apostle of unity. I have never preached hatred. Why would I, for instance, talk to Joseph Kony, a man known for ordering mass killings? If I can talk to Kony, why can't I talk to anybody?
But Mao's bid for multi-party dialogue has been on several occasions criticized by a section of his own party members.
DP leaders and members are strongly advised to shun the so-called cooperation agreement between President Museveni and Minister Norbert Mao and Mr. Siranda Gerard.
Mao will host several dignitaries from all walks of life in Gulu on Saturday 22nd July 2023. The members of DP Parliamentary Caucus, led by Richard Lumu, have decided to boycott the event, claiming that it is behind the premises of the DP party.
It is the right of the Honorable Minister to organize a homecoming event in celebrating his appointment as Minister in the NRM government. However, our Democratic Party members should know that this is not a Democratic Party event, and whoever will risk to attend will do so in his or her individual capacity.
We are supposed to be organizing our structures in these villages. We are supposed to be organizing our strength with the Electoral Commission. We are supposed to have intelligence that can counter or can give us the strength of our enemy for preparation of the next election.
The MPs have instead organized DP prayers at Christ the King Church in Kampala in protest for the Mao's homecoming event.
And pray to God because we are going to have Mass there, which is going to precede other series of activities in various places of worship as we dedicate the Democratic Party and we dedicate the lives of the fighters for the Democratic Party, as we dedicate the souls of those departed Democrats, especially from northern Uganda.
Internal fights in political parties in Uganda have continuously been a daily meal, with the most recent being slapped on the FDC party.
The NRM government, under its chairmanship, they are basically trying to annex parties. After annexing those parties, and they are done with the parties, that's where they will be stronger than before. But we are saying it is not very easy to eat by way of biting an elephant which is walking.
They keep on saying Mao is a pumpkin, that Mao is paid by Museveni. That one now has no currency. They can say whatever they want about me. Ugandans are paying attention to the person with Bueno. There are those who are accused of being moles. Then there are those who accuse others of being moles, but the real moles will be known.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
In the agricultural sector, farmers in Karamoja sub-region are counting losses due to crop failure. The dilemma follows inadequate rainfall received in the water-stressed district of Moroto, Kotido, Nabilatu, and some parts of Napak, constituting the greater Karamoja sub-region.
Karamoja sub-region is an agro-pastoralist community, with most people depending on livestock farming as survival means. But due to insecurity, most of them fled their homes as cattle raids intensified. This has accounted to the troubling hunger that has rocked the region, leading to loss of lives. Early this year, government through the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Animal Husbandry launched the tractor hire scheme in Karamoja to boost the harvest with the aim of reducing hunger and people to embrace large-scale farming. Many people welcomed the idea and opened up land for agriculture using tractors, oxen, while others remained using rudimentary methods to plant crops like sorghum, maize, beans and groundnuts. However, due to inadequate rainfall received in many of the water-stressed regions of Karamoja, people have lost following the dry-up of the planted crops.
For the first time since I came to Kotido, a lot of people have put sorghum down, have put maize down, have put groundnuts down. Unfortunately, the weather pattern has changed without notice.
6 traditional sub-counties that we have in the district. We can count up to about 10,000 acres that was tilled.
The farmers claim a lot has been invested in monetary terms through buying seeds, paying labor, and hiring tractors to plow the land for the planting season. 71 years old Regina Nachuge, a resident of Naitakwe village, Moroto municipality, had planted 5 acres of maize, groundnuts and sorghum. Many of the gardens have dried up due to the scorching sun. Moroto District Production and Marketing Officer Dr. Francis Olaki in Nangolet says the food baskets in Moroto, like Tapak and Katikekire sub-counties, are not doing well.
Spell that set in at the end of June, or rather mid-June up to now, has caused a lot of catastrophic effects on the plants that we have. So in a sub-county like Tapak, which has been like a food store for us, apparently we have a huge number of acres that have been destroyed by the drought.
But due to climate change, the region has experienced little rains, which has led to poor performance of crops.
The last 2 to 3 years, the seasonal rivers have not flown, which because for water to flow in the river, it will show you that the ground has absorbed enough and there is excess and there is overflow.
People have really gone to the gardens. It's just that the climate has failed to behave. There is no any sign of rain. That tells us that we're heading for the worst, or the worst is coming.
The only option left for sustainable agriculture in the water-stressed Karamoja sub-region is the introduction of irrigation schemes and investigating in underground water harvesting for good harvest.
Several kubedes in the district, and we use the same water for irrigation. I think something can be done in relation to food security. I know government is trying. Ministry of Agriculture is trying to do one dam in Tapach sub-county, that's in Nakonyan. Also, I think with a capacity of about 1.8 billion liters of water, and we hope that with the completion, something good can happen.
The aspect of irrigation needs to be done, and this will go along with a lot of training of persons on how to manage their water, to manage their land, to manage.
Is to request the government to move with the speed to have food distributed every household. Even this food that is being given to the community, targeted individuals who are the most affected, the most vulnerable. You find the vulnerables, I never parish, I never sub-county.
Marion Awori and Emyooga for UBC.
The National Chairman Forum for Democratic Change Party Ambassador Waswabirigwa has castigated some party leaders who mistreated him and also deployed guns to beat up journalists on Thursday this week when he appeared at the party headquarters in Nigeria to address the conference on growing tensions and have since put the party in bad light.
Forum for Democratic Change Party election roadmap indicate that elections at parish and sub-county levels for party representative start today and end 23rd July, an adjustment that was made after complaints from some party members. Following the internal strifes within the party, the national chairman of the party, Ambassador Waswabirigwa, was supposed to make clarifications on the proposed changes prior to holding him hostage within the party premises on Thursday this week. Birigwa said although the National Executive Council sat and one of the issues raised was organized elections, some people said there was no budget and party cards.
Process is not correct. The result will not be correct, and at the end we have to fight over it. Then we have to waste the resources, the time spent, and then at what quality of people or quality of people that the party is, and what should we be blaming NRM if we are going to do the same exercise?
Birigwa, speaking at the press conference, he acknowledged having written a letter to stop the conducting of the elections, but some individuals within the party he described as big-headed turned down his objection. His presence at the party headquarters before the situation ended up chaotic was to communicate that all issues would be handled within the confinements of the National Executive Council that was slated to convene on 28th July, next Friday.
And the other one was to say them not to continue with this exercise about the elections, because as far as I'm concerned, I didn't think it was correct the way we are doing it. He had not followed the procedures that had been laid down. He had not followed NEC resolutions. Okay? Is it narcissism? Is that a word? Or is this a syncopath? What is it? You know, there is something psychological that turns somebody into something that is supposed not to be, but he feels it is. And sometimes it's power, sometimes it's money, that he sees things different from the rest of us.
Ambassador Birigwa disclosed that the issue of the money that came into FDC party during the 2021 general elections was raised by the former president of the FDC, Dr. Kiza Besigye, and he is yet to receive a report from the committee that was given the work to investigate the matter.
the money? How did it get to us and all that stuff? That was not my business, because as far as I was concerned, a committee had been set up and had been resolved or had done their report, which I wasn't privy to, and I still haven't received it. But out of that report, that's the report that we're going to present to the National Council. And then out of it, we will know the way forward.
In response to the way he was treated by a batch of youth claiming to be party members, Birigwa revealed that the party president Inya Amriat denied having a hand in the deployment of the youth, whose actions were uncalled for, but portioned the blame on the party secretary general, whom he says was fully aware of their presence.
You are the one responsible for this. And he said, no, I don't have the rights to do that. The person who's responsible for security and everything is the Secretary General. So, it's the Secretary General who was responsible for it. I am annoyed, unhappy maybe in many ways. I still think that this was a good thing to happen. Why? It showed our underbelly, okay, that we have dirt.
The two factions of Najanankumbi and Katonga, Birigwa said, individuals can have ideologies, but the official party headquarters are in Najanankumbi, emphasizing that Katonga is their activist office of FDC under People's Government headed by Dr. Kiza Besije. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Busabala.
Thank you very much there, Nafuka Farida. Now, in a bid to ensure the success of a national security information system project, the Minister for Presidency, Babidi Babalanda, appealed to key parties involved to adopt a collaborative approach. She said this during a conclusion of a 10-day modular open source identity platform capacity building training that was held at Uganda Institute of Information and Communications and Technology in Nakawa.
The NISIS project, implemented in partnership with the International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore, India, and the Uganda Security Printing and Publishing Corporation, aims to support the National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, in enhancing their identification and registration capabilities. However, at the closure of the capacity building training, the Minister for Presidency, Midi Babiri Babalanda, is in need of a much larger workforce to handle the extensive workload ahead.
This number is just a drop in the ocean, considering the amount of work that is going to be done during the implementation of the NSIS project and the capacity requirements. There is a greater need to train more personnel so that the project gets implemented effectively and efficiently.
Babalanda applauded the participants for having successfully concluded this training and tasked them to take the program as a great opportunity to expand their knowledge base.
To our participants, please take this as a great opportunity for you to expand your knowledge base. You need to appreciate that ICT is one of the key drivers for the realization of the goals of the National Development Plan.
Professor Muhammad Ngoma, the USPC board chairman, underscored the importance of the project.
The system, Martin has equally told us come December, the system will be up and running. So, Honorable Minister, we are no longer worried about the election roadmap. We are sure that we shall be in time for elections and many other things.
On this part, USPC Managing Director George Mugera said the training is one of the outputs of the Memorandum of Understanding which was signed between USPC and IIITB.
The system is going to be within our control. That's why we've trained our own people. One of the beauties with this system is that it takes advantage of the local capacities that we have, and good enough, we've tapped also into the expertise of our partners from India, who are really going to support us while we build this system.
Krishnan Rajagoplan, MOSIP head country implementations, assured the minister that MOSIP has the experience and capability to help the government of Uganda to implement a digital and a foundational identity system which is cost effective.
So, any country which is going to take MOSIP henceforth is going to not face any problems and it will start working from day one. So Uganda is blessed.
The participants in this training were drawn from numerous government institutions, including ISO, State House, NIRA, among others. Justin Nakami, UBC News.
Well, it's time for us to take a short break and return with more news. Stay with us.
Uganda ne Uganda waraji bakusako manrane chikona tena tekobo seko season yakuna sabu July kuma mal papa's hall usasule kwa MTN mobile money usasule gumu chitundu MTN usasule nega komitano niga stemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha kwa MTN ofune tiketi yokati wabula kumulyango usasule mitwale ebiri yepe mitwale tano ate meza ya milioni 2 munana July koni hotel mkono mwenda July nikan resort elweza 15 July France Africa Jinja abiri mbili July Maria Flema Saka abiri mwenda July Afro Club Eka Sangati ate yoyo noku yingi na mutualo wafujinidwa musente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda Waraji ne
MTN. At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
The land take for development of Tilenga, Kingfisher and East Africa crude oil pipeline projects in Uganda is approximately 6,900 acres with close to 10,000 project-affected persons. The compensation process involves an inclusive and participatory resettlement action plan study that provides for cash payment, physical resettlement and livelihood improvement packages for the affected persons. 90% of all the project-affected persons have been fully compensated. 200 replacement houses have been constructed and handed over.
Ngati Agnes mfanazo aberu ma ot beru kabesendra wanyaru dum agera ot dum top onede podu pio eduga majigera ot ma eni matinani iye maleng adonga chopo poringo kumacha sente dano wangu moko ola nyeo kodole moko machalo dielde moko konyo kodawia school nyekwaya gibeteka somo de.
Communities are also engaged in vocational skills, agriculture, financial literacy programs, employment, and contracting opportunities to improve their livelihoods and grow community content. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sematia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Welcome back from that short break as we delve into the world of business. Government, through the National Agriculture Advisory Services, NAADS, has embarked on championing the growing of high-value crops like macadamia, hass, avocado and sunflower, among others, through supporting nucleus farmers with already existing schemes on large scale. Government has embarked on a 20 billion towards the initiative with the aim of increasing export and promoting value addition for sustainable crops in the country.
Over 20 billion shillings has been earmarked towards supporting nuclear farmers already in the existing large-scale schemes of high-value crops like hass, avocado and macadamia this financial year. In the cost-sharing initiative, government through NAADS is giving at least 70% of the support to farmers and a contribution of 30% made by the farmers themselves. The initiative involves cost-sharing on purchase of quality seedlings to minimize wastage of government resources.
So in order to have the right volumes, we came in as government through NAADS to support the farmers to access the planting materials at an affordable price.
Government has partnered with at least 8 large-scale farmers already growing the 5 high-value crops in the different districts across the country, among which include Mityana, Chenjojo, Fort Portal, Kabarole, Kitagwenda, Mayuge and Gulu. The consideration of farmers was based on those with fully operational nursery beds and orchards of either macadamia and hass avocado.
We are working together with them to bring on board the other small farmers.
At Ngezi Town Council, Chenjojo District, is Raymond Muhwezi, the manager of Royal Plants and Nurseries that started in 2018. Muhwezi operates a macadamia seedling nursery bed, supplies both macadamia and hass avocado seedlings to outgrowers, and also has an orchard.
Aside from our traditional cash crops, coffee, tea, this is another alternative venture where we feel we can tap into.
Just like Muhwezi, Robert Kajabago also has a 5-acre orchard of macadamia in Mieri County, Chenjojo District, and is a beneficiary of NAADS initiative.
Something that is already cheaper and is grown and can last for ages, then why not add value to macadamia?
All farmers use irrigation schemes and application of organic fertilizers on their orchards to ensure quality fruit production. Basemark Farm, Nambale Village, Kanara Sub-County, Kitagwenda District has over 280 acres in production of hass avocado, started in 2019.
So we are expecting not less than, I can say, 100 tons for this season.
In Mayuge District is Musubi Farm, seated on about 1.9 square miles of land. Musubi Farm has a complete value chain with the hass avocado oil processing plant located in Mabera. At the plant, avocado oil, animal feeds and manure are all got from the hass avocado. The crude avocado is also exported while the residues are turned into either manure or animal feeds.
Depending on this year, that is January up to now, we've managed up to 300 tons of fruits.
Hass avocado is one of the high-value crops with a good shelf life, between 2 weeks to 1 month. It can also be used to produce organic oils
and fertilizers, just like macadamia. In supporting growth of these crops, government is also training extension workers and has further started organizing farmers into associations and cooperatives. NADS started supporting nucleus farmers with macadamia seedlings in August 2022, with over 137,000 seedlings given out to a MAF farm in Mitiana and Royal Plant Nurseries and other beneficiaries. Susan Naunga reporting for EBC TV.
Now, as experts have appealed to government to strengthen and implement policies and laws that govern animal welfare to ensure protection of animals in the country. Let's hear more from Nantongo Susan.
Uganda heavily relies on agriculture as regards the Minister of Agriculture and More Industry and Fisheries report of the last financial year that shows that agriculture contributes 24.1% on the country's GDP. 70% out of the total population in Uganda engage in agriculture, among other practices like farming and animal rearing. However, research shows that industrial animal agriculture is on a rise in the country, which has led to an increase in violation of animal welfare.
The way we treat animals on farm. On the majority of the farms, or even in our backyards, we are not providing the basic needs of animals, the food, the medication. We are not providing for those.
How the chicken are reared, they are caged, they don't have freedom. You know, you can see how the pigs are transported. I once saw, I think people have like 4 pigs on a border. You know, that is all suffering.
With this, the Animal Welfare Competence Center for Africa, AWECA, has launched a project to work with government to ensure that animal welfare is embraced and maintained in the country.
This is aimed at improving production efficiency on farms. It is aimed at reducing the possible zoonotic diseases that might arise as a result of taking on these factory methods of farming.
Dr. Suna said, although there are some existing laws governing animals in the country, there is still loopholes and lack of implementation.
Here we are calling upon the government to enhance their implementation plans, to bring other stakeholders on board to work together to make sure that these beautiful laws that we have are well implemented and animals are transported in their appropriate.
Dr. Tashora Putato from the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries said violation of animal welfare impacts on the lives of Ugandans. However, promised to work with various stakeholders to curb on the mistreatment of animals.
The ministry is not seated, it is there. And we have some mechanisms which are in place. And we even have plans to make sure that this one is done away with. We claim, and indeed it is true, we have the required human resource. In PG I have my president. Every district I claim to have vets. And they are supposed to be in charge of this welfare.
Other participants who attended the project inception said it's timely.
Let's treat these animals carefully. Let's make their lives as comfortable as we want our lives to be.
Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Nabugude, UBC News.
Now, still in the world of business, the remarkable success of Emyooga SACCOs in Kisoro District, Kigezi region, has not only delighted the leaders and beneficiaries, but also served as a source of inspiration for the region of Bukedi, Bugisu and Sebei, respectively.
A delegation of Emyooga leaders and beneficiaries from the regions of Bukedi, Bugisu and Sebei embarked on study visit to Kigezi region. The exchange visit is to learn from the successful performance of Emyooga SACCOs in promoting socio-economic transformation within communities in the district of Kisoro. The flourishing Emyooga SACCOs program impressed the team.
I would like to thank the government of Uganda, especially His Excellency, for introducing Emyooga. It has really changed the lives of our people.
I've learned how to buy shares. We have learned how to be transparent. Here, people are doing work with all the honesty, with efficiency, and innovativeness is key here.
But for us, when we go back, we need to go and educate our people to change their minds such that they can embrace the program and we develop it better.
Implemented by the Microfinance Support Center, Emyooga is a presidential initiative aimed at fostering job creation and improving household incomes for communities in the informal sector. The resident district commissioner of Bududa, George Owanyi, who led the delegation, emphasized the importance of financial inclusion and urged Emyooga Circle members to be informed about it.
Let's not misuse this money. This money is coming to help us in our households, these economically active groups of people who want to do something, they know what to do, but they don't have access to capital. They don't have the collateral to go to the conventional commercial banks. So we just need to pass this message on that this money is supposed to be a revolving fund that's going to move from one person to another.
One of the shining examples of Emyooga's impact is the success story of the Emyooga Circle in Bufumbira Sub-County, Kisoro District. This circle ventured into market-oriented activities, value addition and the export of maize flour produced using their own milling machines.
Congo is take there like 300 bags, 200 bags, depending on the population, just needing the flour.
Boaz Tuhumure, the zonal manager of the Kabale Microfinance Support Center, observed that the Emyooga program activities in Kisoro District have been exceptional and worthy of emulation.
For a circle to succeed and to be sustainable, one, the governance structure must be well aligned and it must be in place. And in a circle operation, the key thing is also trust and commitment.
Emyooga leaders and beneficiaries have come together from the 10 districts including Mbale, Palisa, Kapchora, Bosia, Chiboko, Bududa, Bulamburi and Namisindwa, among others. I'm Nafka Farida and Robert Boita.
Well, let us step a little bit into the world of sports where Uganda national women's basketball team, the Gazelles, beat Team Select at Lugogo Indoor Arena in a practice match that helped gauge them ahead of the 2023 Women's Afro Basketball Championships that will take place in Rwanda at the end of this month.
The Uganda women's basketball team, the Gazelles, beat Team Select by 78 to 61 points at the Lugogo Indoor Arena on Thursday night. The friendly match win is part of the preparation for the upcoming Afro Women's Basketball Tournament that will take place in Rwanda at the end of July.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've been competitive. We've been able, after 1 week together, to play first time 5-on-5. So we were putting the focus only in the offensive side. Now from tomorrow we will start to work on our defense. But it's been a really good practice for us.
Melissa Akulo and Janon Otto were the best players for the Gazelles as they recorded 14 and 29 points respectively. The Gazelles dominated much of the game as they remained consistent in their attack and defense plays in all the 4 quarters. The Gazelles are in Group C and will face off against Mali and Senegal at the 2023 Afro Women's Basketball Championship. Marshall Miro, UBC News.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles? So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Well, that's all we had time for. Thank you so much for being a part of us. We will come together to meet again at 10 o'clock. But for now, UBC TV continues.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalippagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for tuning in, and we warmly welcome you to this week's edition of One-on-One with Michael Jenukomwa. We bring variety of people, we discuss variety of topics, but the target is that you take something for a lesson at the end of the discussion. Now, each one of us grows or passes through a different kind of life to reach wherever they get to reach. My guest is Mr. Olauna Emmanuel Orum. He is a member of the Public Service Commission, I beg your pardon. He's a lawyer and a teacher and a civil servant, having had a life not so easy. So how did he manage to make it to this kind of levels, having passed through whatever he's going to tell us? Don't miss the discussion as we start. Mr. Olauna, we are so glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Who is Olauna, briefly in a sentence to somebody watching us?
Olauna Emmanuel Orum is a son of a reverend, a late reverend, Reverend Fenekans Orum. Was Reverend Canon Fenekans Orum. He died in 2020 in the second bout of COVID.
Okay.
I'm a second born. I come in a family of 9, so I'm a second born. I grew up basically in the family of a reverend.
Okay.
And families of reverends are not families that are very rich. We grow competing for virtually everything. It's a home that encourages and entertains all visitors. So that's the type of home I grew up in, sharing whatever little we had with everybody who came at home, especially in those days, in the early 60s and early 70s, that was the life I grew up with. I grew up in a poor family, but by the grace of God, I'm still alive. And I survived the effects of poverty to reach this level.
You are a product of a poor family?
Yes, I'm
but yes. A teacher, a lawyer, now a civil servant, and now at the helm of the Commission for Civil Service,
yes.
Public Service.
Yes.
How do you make it to these heights? Let's start with your education.
I was educated in Kalaki. Kalaki is in the current Palisa district.
Yes.
From P1 up to P6. Then my father was transferred to Kabuangasi. There's a teacher training college there. I completed my primary in Kabuangasi demonstration school. That was 1975. I went to Bukedi College, Kachonga. It is now in the Butaleja, but it was a prominent school in the entire Bukedi sub-region from 1976, and I finished my S4 1979, the year when the government of
Idi Amin was
overthrown. Yes. From there, my father didn't have enough money to take me to secondary,
to high school, senior 5.
S5, yes. So he proposed that I should branch off, and his intention of me branching off was not only to give him relief, but was that if I branched off and I came up, I could help him to educate some of my other siblings, my younger siblings.
Okay.
So I consented. I decided to go to Bishop Willis Teachers College, 1980 to 82. I completed in 82 successfully, and I was posted by the Ministry of Education then to a primary school currently in Mbale City. Then it was Mbale Municipal Council. The school is called Nabionga. I taught for 3 years. Then I decided to sit HSC S6 as a private candidate. I was lucky that in Mbale there was what they call a private hall, which could allow people, private candidates, to register and sit examination. So I registered in the private hall in Mbale, and I sat and I
let us first understand that. What is private hall?
Private hall was a center for candidates who have not had an opportunity to study full-time in S5 and S6.
Yes.
Or those who wanted to repeat in case they failed in another school and they want to repeat. Maybe they don't have money to go full-time, so they decide to only spend money for registration.
Okay.
So I was in that group. We just paid money for examination, UNEB fees. It was good because if you don't have the money, you only pay examination fees. So I took advantage of those ones. Although I could go and get notes from the people who were in the neighboring schools.
Senior 5, senior 6 involves choosing a combination.
Choosing a combination.
So which combination did you choose, a senior 4 lever?
After S4, I decided to choose history, economics, and divinity, because I thought those I can read on my own and understand. At first I wanted to do French because I'd done French at O level. I really had a passion for French. But when I discovered that I would not get anybody to teach me French, because you can't teach yourself a language, I decided to drop French.
After senior 4, you went and trained as a teacher.
Yes.
You got a diploma. Why did you again go back for senior 5 and 6?
I went for senior 5 and 6 because, yes, there was a mature entry scheme in Makere could admit people through mature age scheme. But I thought it was very difficult because mature age...
Not even the mature entry. As far as I know, if somebody has senior 4, then some other training of 2 years, it is weighed as equivalent to senior 5 and 6.
Yes.
Not so?
Yes.
So you already had this?
I had it.
Why again take the burden of going back to senior 5 and 6 to sit again for UNEB? Yet you already had a diploma with the 2 years.
It wasn't a diploma, it was a certificate.
Okay.
A certificate.
Okay.
I didn't have a combination that I could bank on and say I will use this subject and this subject to go and pursue further education at a university level. Because when you're in a grade 3 training college, you are doing professional subjects, foundations of education, you are doing those teaching practice,
yes.
You are doing mathematics at elementary level, because you are going to impart it to the children in
Yes.
the primary. So I didn't have a serious combination that I thought I could do. That's why I took the hard way, and I decided to say, let me go and do history, economics, and divinity. Probably I can go to university and do a Bachelor of Arts. I can do social work and social administration. I could also do law, but those days law, they were looking at people who have done literature, which I had not done. So that's why I decided to go in that way. Secondly, people who had not gone through HSC, they were asking you you must have been out of school for about 3-4 years. And I thought that was long. I didn't want to take long because I knew I had very many other obligations. I would want to marry, I would want to do ABCD. So I thought by going the hard way, I would shorten the period of furthering my education. That's why I decided to do HSC as a private candidate just within 2 years after qualifying as a grade 3.
So you got sit for senior 6?
Yes, I said.
How successful were you?
I was successful. I got a C in economics, I got a D in history, and I got an O in divinity. Okay. And that is the time 1985 when the then government was trying to expand Makerere. There's a time when Makerere had multi-campuses. She had a multi-campus in Kyambogo, a multi-campus in Akawa for BCom. Kyambogo was for teachers. There was another multi-campus in Kabanyolo for agriculture. And then Makerere was trying to expand to increase the numbers. So that time I didn't go to Makerere to do a bachelor's in a bachelor's degree. I missed by 0.8 that year, despite the fact that Makerere was expanding. But somehow I was able to go to Kyambogo. By then it was being phased from National Teachers College, Kyambogo, to Institute of Teacher Education. Okay. They used to call it ITEC. Actually, ITEC, I'm a pioneer student of the Institute of Teacher Education.
So where do you get the idea to join Kyambogo? And then what course were you given in Kyambogo anyway?
When I passed S6, I got 80 points then. This government admission board posted me to Kyambogo automatically to do a diploma now in business education.
Okay.
It is also, it was a diploma in education, but slightly to do business education. Those days the diploma in Kyambogo was 2 years, but specifically for business education, it was 3.
Okay.
Business education included subjects like commerce, typing, account, principles of accounts, office practice.
Yes.
Those are the ones I did.
I've heard of that diploma.
Yes, and because there were very many subjects in that course, they stretched it to 3 years. And that's what prompted me again to go further. I was saying, I missed to go to Makerere by just 0.8. And my colleagues who went there for 3 years were coming out with the degree.
Yes.
And me, who was unlucky to go to Kyambogo to do a diploma in business education, I also took 3 years, but I was coming out with a diploma. So that's what happened. I completed my diploma, and I was posted to Toro Girls. Toro Girls is in the east. It is in Tororo. It is a girls' school.
Now as a secondary school teacher?
As a secondary school teacher. Now I upgraded. I moved from primary, and now I went to secondary.
I'll take you back to the point where you were a primary school teacher.
Yes.
You had come from a poor family.
Yes.
By God's grace, you get your certificate with a job as a teacher on government payroll.
Yes.
What again motivated you to think that you had to go for more education, that you ended up in senior 5 to do senior 6? What was the motivation?
What motivated me at that time, I didn't think that primary teaching is a noble, good profession. You are respected by the students, by the pupils, you are respected by the parents, but I didn't think that it was the end of it. And the salary of a teacher by then, like it is now, wasn't adequate enough.
How much were you being paid?
I was getting, I remember my first salary was 800, and I was getting around 800. By then, 1980.
800,000?
800 shillings, less than 1,000. Yes.
Lunana?
Yes, 800. That was my first salary. So that wasn't.
What would it be equivalent with in the current currency we have? Around 200,000?
Maybe not 200. I remember If you wanted to buy a bicycle,
yes,
a bicycle then was 4,000 shillings. So if you wanted to buy a bicycle, then you'd have to save without using for 5 months. So you look at the salary that right now
of a bicycle
for 5 months to buy a bicycle.
Somebody told me bicycle is around 500,000.
Yes,
now.
yes, about 500,000.
So what you were earning was
5 times less.
An estimate of 100,000.
Yes, 100,000 shillings then.
Of today.
Yes, of today.
Okay. You have to pay rent and all that?
Yes, of course I was in town. You have to pay rent, you have to buy everything, food and utilities in the house, everything. Like the urban life is. The good thing with me was that I come from Kabuanga, it's not very far from Mumbai, it's about 15 kilometers, 15, 20. So every weekend I would go home and I bring some food so that at least it takes us for some time. So I was not buying food. Most of the things I was buying maybe beans, and if you wanted to eat some meat or fish, that's what we would buy. But when it came to dry ratios like rice, like millet,